Here we are. Hi, MK. Welcome, everyone. Namaste. Wonderful day to everyone. I hope that you can hear me well. Let's dive in. So, this is Akasha, Nan Akasha from nanakasha.com. Make sure you come over, see what we're up to, get on the list because we send out all kinds of goodies and we suddenly have a class or we have something exciting and we'll jump on here. So if you subscribe to YouTube and get notifications, you will also get a notice when I go live. So oftentimes people will be like, wow, I was going to go see something else and I realized you were live. So welcome, everyone. My goal, my mission, my passion is studying the ancient wisdom of the mystery schools. And I've been through many of them, studying energy work, psychology. I'm a homeopathic doctor. I'm a master level hypnotherapist. I'm an energy worker. I've taken almost every energy class out there. I've created my own mystery school and my own light body school. And I have taught sacred geometry, energy movement. I'm a very clear channel. I'm trained as a shaman and a priestess. I travel dimensions. I can see energies. And I love to teach you whatever it is really the most powerful, beneficial, and practical, because we can take really abstract concepts like universal laws or ancient wisdom or alchemy, and we can say, wow, you're the authority of your reality. You're creating your reality with your words. And yet you might be stuck in a situation in your life and you're like, I don't understand how I get out of this. Everything looks solid around me. It doesn't look like I can get free of this relationship, this job, this health issue, the news, the trauma happening in the world around us. So right now we're at a critical point and everyone is feeling it. I don't live in that world. I live in my own reality on my own planet, and I like to teach you how to do that as well. And what that means is that I'm very aware that there's changes and shifts and breakdowns, and it's also for our highest good. Everything happens for us, not to us. And the universe has a plan, and it is guiding us to a whole new reality where we can start to be personally, spiritually expressed beings, infinite, wealthy, rich, happy, at peace, with harmonious relationships, with everything we could possibly need. And the purpose is not to chase stuff, it's to remember everything that we desire is already within us right now. And the universe is happy to give it to us, to open doors, synchronicities, ideas, dreams, whatever way that the universe can get through to us in our fear and our worry and our drama and our busy lives, in order to guide us the best path to what is optimal for each of us at this time. This is a very accelerated evolution we're going through. It's a metamorphosis, it's a societal reset, and it's been prophesized for many thousands and thousands of years. Okay. So, what does that mean? It means we're in an opportunity. And that's why you came here, regardless of what you've experienced or perhaps you're experiencing right now in your life, as much as you may love or not love your life, as much as you may be plagued by or concerned with failures you've had or things you've never achieved, or when will I get the money? When will I find the love of my life? When will my body, heal up? These are things we've been programmed to chase and to believe that we have to have things outside of us, and that it takes a long time and a lot of hard work and other things that are not truth. So the bottom line is I open the doors to truth for you. So in my classes, in my retreats, in my private coaching, in everything that I do, the goal is to rewire and realign you with your truth, your inner self. You're divine in a human body. So am I. So is the tree. So is the cat. So is the dragonfly. So is the moon. Everything is divine. Everything is light. Everything is energy. Everything is vibrating. Everything is frequency. You put out a frequency. You have a radiant field. You have an auric field. Your mind is full of ideas, concepts, beliefs, mindsets. And it may be full of a lot of things that you don't remember putting there or agreeing to. And yet that's the way that it works. The mind is not the brain, but they are attached. The brain and the mind work together. The brain has a lot of what's called neural pathways. Over time, they become deeply grooved. If you grew up, I grew up where it was snowing, and you had a favorite hill you liked to sled on. If you kept going down that same place, pretty soon that path became very slippery. It became like ice, which meant that the minute you sat down on your sled at the top, you just took off like that. Woof! There was no effort at all. It was just automatic. That's what the neural pathways in our brain are doing when you worry over and over, when you believe or say a certain thing over and over. Your mind and your higher self and your body and all the parts of you are listening, and they're saying, oh, okay, she wants more trauma. She wants to be sick. I'm so afraid if I go traveling that I'll get ill. Oh, I'm really worried that I won't have enough money for rent. Oh, I always date the wrong guy. Oh, whatever it is. Okay. So yes, some of it comes from your ancestors in your DNA. Some of it comes from your previous lives in this time spiral of life that you're on. You're very multidimensional and you're eternal. And some of it comes from your upbringing, your culture. Some of it comes from your experiences that you've been through in this life, where you tried to build a business and it failed, or you worked really hard to create something or write a book or create a play or do a project, and it went well for a while and then it didn't, or it didn't end up with the outcome that you wanted. Maybe you believe that you're a failure or you're unworthy. These are the kinds of habits and patterns that aren't just handed down through our families. They're encoded, embedded, and reinforced in our societies through the media, through the news, through scrolling on, I heard someone the other day call it doom scrolling, and I go, well, that's pretty accurate. Through constantly looking outside of ourselves to what everyone else thinks, from our family, our school, people we believe are in authority, whether it's a priest or a president of the local association or the president of a country, whether it is a doctor or the man that fixes your car. We have this tendency, we are trained to put our power outside of us and believe everyone else knows better, and that we have to please everyone outside of us. We also have a tendency, and if you're on your path like me, you may be over some of these, or you may be conscious of some of these patterns, but you haven't conquered your true emotional freedom in the sense that nothing affects you. Maybe you think you don't have a trigger with your father anymore, and then suddenly you go to visit for Thanksgiving and you get triggered. It's what we call, it's triggering an energetic imprint, a belief. I used to describe them like little microchips that are embedded in some level of your light body. Your light body is very big. It is made up of your physical body, your physical etheric or your auric body, your emotional body, your mental body, many layers of spiritual Buddhic causal bodies, chakras, meridians, and it continues and continues. It goes out more than a mile, and it has with it both your ancestral DNA, trauma, beliefs that you've agreed to in this life, your memory bank, your subconscious mind, which is filled with programs the way that your computer has programs. It is running what you think something means, how you react to something before you can even take a half a second of a breath to decide how you're going to react to somebody cutting you off in traffic or someone saying something to you. It's the reaction that comes from the neural pathways that, just like that sled on ice, just whoosh, automatically go that way. In fact, science has now caught up in some areas with ancient wisdom, alchemy, mystery schools, and the laws of the universe, and has proven a lot of this in a quote unquote scientific or logical way. That's nice for many people because sometimes it's hard to believe it's happening, to believe you're talking to an angel, to believe that you're psychic, to believe that you're here with a purpose and a power and the universe wants you to be rich and that you actually have everything you want within you and you wouldn't want it if you didn't already have it. And there's you existing in many, many, many timelines right now. You happy, you sick, you in all different versions of how you could be experiencing this moment and this reality. But you did not come here to suffer. You are not condemned. You are not wrong. You are not a failure. Nothing that you believe in any lack is truth. It's an illusion. Everything's an illusion. This is a hologram. It's a mirror. We live on a planet of mirrors. What does that mean? It means that your radiant field, your frequency, you're putting out through your brain because your brain is sending frequencies, receiving frequencies. Your body, your cells, your bones, your chakras, every level of your light body that we just described is sending out different frequencies, vibrations, energies. If you imagine, it's like each one has a cell phone number and it or a GPS signal, and certain things are tracking it. So if you're constantly worrying, if you're constantly saying, oh, the world's terrible right now, this is bad, that's bad, I never have luck, I never have enough money, oh, these people were so mean to me, nobody sees me, nobody listens to me, no one respects me, pick a topic, okay? You're creating that in your life, no one else. So this is both personal responsibility to say, do you really want to change your life? Do you really want to be free from trauma, drama, and recreating the same stuff over and over? Stop doing the same stuff over and over, and you'll change things in your life. So this show today is about my workshop coming, and it's called the Calm Clarity Method, and it is based on emotional freedom technique, thought field therapy, and other energy work that I've done. Now, if you've been around a while, I was around online teaching, speaking on stages, doing spiritual money and business coaching, working with people about getting out of their victim vibe, that everything has a voice, therefore everything's alive and it's speaking and it has a radiant field too, and therefore everything has medicine, and you can pick and choose what supports you, what uplifts you, what do you want in your environment, what color, what statue, what smell, what candle, what people, what thoughts are around you. Do they support you? Do they nourish you? Do they uplift you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and so on? We cannot continue to act like, oh, I'm over obligated, I'm too busy, I don't have enough, everything's out of my control, I don't have it, because we are literally choosing to be a victim and to self-sabotage over and over. Now, I understand that you, like me and many people, a lot of this is happening subconsciously. The habits are running automatically, and therefore it makes it seem difficult because they're invisible or hidden patterns and triggers that you carry around. You've also learned to survive in the world, right? So you've learned to not think about the trauma, the grief, or the fear or the failure. You've learned to maybe try again. You've learned to meditate. You've learned to use words or declarations or affirmations or different methods that are out there to lift your mood up, to be positive. These are great, except that if we don't go to the laws of the universe and actually get to that point, we're not affecting the world. We're not affecting physical reality. We're not freeing and releasing our mental field or our emotional field or our physical field from these patterns and habits that have been embedded because of how long we have been operating either unconsciously in habitual loops, or we have made decisions, decrees, and commitments, contracts, vows that said, I'm never speaking up again because this terrible thing happened to me. I never want to own anything again because I lost everything in a big dramatic divorce. That was me. I don't want to be seen because people are mean and they're not nice. And I understand. I've been through a lot of trauma and loss and failure myself. And I've gone out over and over. And I'm a huge, big achiever. And I've chased down success and I've built businesses and I've made lots of money and I've lost lots of money. And I had a daughter die, and I went through a 3.5-year divorce where my mother then disowned me, and I went through a bankruptcy. So I have been up and down the scale of consciousness experiencing life, and I don't regret any of it anymore. I know how painful it can be when you're triggered, when you feel weak, when you feel tender, when maybe somebody died recently, maybe you had a recent failure, maybe your best friend just was mean to you or accused you of something. Maybe you made a choice to invest your money and you think you made a bad choice and you've lost it. Now you're judging yourself. Blame, judge, all these things, they drag us down to what are called force states based on David Hawkins' Power versus Force book. It's a little scientific, but if you, and I'm going to share the scale of consciousness with you today. I've made my own version from him, and it's free for you in the shop. So if you don't have it and you're in one of my classes, just email my assistant, Donna, and she'll be happy to give it to you. I recommend you print it. You put it on your phone, you laminate it, you look at it, you use it, because it's such a powerful tool to understand what state of consciousness are you in. Then you understand better if you're feeling down or you're feeling good, if you're feeling heavy, if you're feeling fearful, if you're feeling weak, if you're feeling tender, if you're feeling empowered, if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling curious. This is very important. This is called self-realization, self-recognition, understanding, loving, and accepting yourself. And there's many layers of that. We're not going to get into all the other layers of creating by accepting and understanding that you are a divine being in a body and you have everything you want already, and so on. These tools that I want to share with you today and that we're going to share in the workshop are simple, practical, easy to learn, applicable, and I'm condensing down an enormous science, an enormous amount of information into something very easy and simple for you to apply, so that when you're triggered in traffic, when you're triggered at the office, when you're triggered when you're with your friends or at a family gathering or at the doctor, it doesn't matter where, you can master your emotions and your thoughts in any situation in order to no longer react and get dragged down to these force states. Force states means the energy is heavy. It's very difficult to get inspired, to think positive. It's very difficult to feel happy. It literally sucks you into thinking negatively and blaming other people and having repetitive thoughts that are not productive or creative. These are habits that almost everyone on the planet has or has had, and therefore we think they're normal. They're not normal. All right. You and I are breaking free from the matrix, from what everybody says is normal. And believe me, most people, even the ones you love dearly, do not understand this, do not have a, hang on. Okay. Do not have, unless they have their own situation where they desire to learn this, you cannot force these ahas, these wisdoms, these truths on anyone, because they have to get to a point of pain in their own life. There is a purpose to pain. It clarifies what you want and what you don't want. And when you know that and you've had enough, you suddenly are willing to turn and do something new. You're willing to get out of your comfort zone. You're willing to do something unfamiliar, to be uncomfortable, get out of your comfort zone, which I call your death zone, because when you stay inside that familiar, it can feel safe. And if you've just had recently some very traumatic experience, please take care of yourself. Okay. This is also where you go if you want to register for the workshop. And I want to share with you, it's only $17. You get all the recordings. And we have an upgrade plan where you can get my course, How to Master Your Emotions in Any Situation. And that's worth $88 in of its own. So this is happening live, but as soon as, if you see this later, don't worry about it. You will get instant access. And the purpose of doing this clearly isn't to make a lot of money, right? It's to give you a tool that will support you through what is happening on the planet right now. Recently, I've done a lot of shows that are talking about getting free from burnout, getting out of trauma, understanding these things that are happening, and no longer identifying as somebody who's wounded, who's weak, who has some kind of a label. Because regardless of how real you think your challenge is, I can tell you in my 40 years of healing work and energy work, I have seen miracles, literal miracles. People regenerate limbs and organs and reverse stage 4 cancer, lymphoma, lung cancer, you name it. Okay. Because all of those things are not normal and they do not come from your DNA and your ancestors. So if your mother had breast cancer, you are not doomed to have it. Do not listen to anyone or give them your power that tells you that, and stop thinking it or fearing it, because you will create it. The hard truth is you created everything in your life right now. You decided what it meant. You decided what you thought, what you declared within in very emotional moments in your life. I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing this. And I do a lot of past life work where we travel shamanically to retrieve parts of your soul that have broken off or have been buried or imprisoned or bound up into some vows or agreements that we made. And what does that mean? It just means that you made a decision at some point with great power. And because you're the creator of your reality, when you say, I'm never speaking up again, I'm never letting anyone know that I'm a healer. I'm never letting anybody see that I can see energy because I was burned at the stake or killed or my family was or something else happened. So we have that in our history, whether it's conscious or not, it's in the body. And so you are attracting through your frequency whatever you have decided is true. It is now in your mind. Whatever you have given your power to emotionally, I am afraid to go over there because somebody says something and I'll just completely freak out, or they'll trigger me, or I'll start to cry, or I won't feel good. I used to cry all the time. My feelings were hurt nonstop. I wanted everyone to like me, and I was afraid of everybody because I thought they were going to judge me and criticize me. So guess what happened? I got a lot of that, right? So you're the one attracting or creating or uncovering these situations. Here's the power in what I'm telling you. You're also the one that can reverse it, release it, transmute it, and literally create something completely different, even the complete opposite. If you're experiencing poverty and you don't believe that there's any money and there's any way that anybody's ever going to help you, you can reverse that and live a truly miraculous, wealthy, rich life. If you don't think you're lovable, if you think you're not smart enough or unworthy, whatever it is, it doesn't matter how long you've believed that, thought that way, and attracted from within you or around you people, circumstances, and situations that cause these samskaras, they're called. I did a beautiful show with the Karma Doctor here on the channel talking about samskaras. It's an ancient Sanskrit word for energetic imprints, and they're come from these traumatic experiences we have when we make a decision. I'm never doing that again. It was too painful. I'm never trusting people again. I'm never dating again. I'm never owning anything again. I'm never whatever it is. Okay. You're here in a body to live a beautiful, harmonious, aligned life, flowing and dancing with the universe, creating anything you can imagine. And we're moving into an era where that is easier and more possible than ever before. First, we have to shed all this heaviness we carry in our cells, in our bones, in our minds, in our thoughts, in our emotions. So if we can be triggered by somebody just saying something or seeing something or remembering something. This morning, I'm leaving soon to go to my daughter's wedding. And this morning I was sharing with somebody some of the story of my life. And I said, I've been thinking about what special things I could give her for her wedding. And I thought, I'm going to go open up some of my boxes. I live here in Mexico, so I don't have a lot of my stuff because I got rid of most of it, but I have some photo albums, and I started pulling them out. And some of them were of me in 1976. Some of them were my children when they were born. They were 8 weeks premature and they were this big. And a bunch of other ones of my children as they grew up in our Halloween costumes or at Easter or painting or having birthdays. My dad's birthday, who's 92 now, and my children, my twins have their birthdays are just a couple days apart. So we often would have these celebrations together. It was very interesting to open up these memories because they bring up thoughts and emotions, right? And I went through a very epic divorce, and it was very, very epic. Let's just say that. And I didn't feel bad. I just felt deep. I felt deep in the emotion of, wow, look at my life. Look at everything I've lived. Look at the richness. I even saw pictures of me in high school and my boyfriend, who was a super hottie. I played sports. There were pictures of me playing basketball, volleyball, track. There was me with some of my best friends that I remember. They looked exactly the way I remembered. I was like, wow, I don't remember when I last looked at these. That was in the 70s. Then there was me in college, and there was me newly married, and all of these different phases of my life and different businesses. And I didn't go through everything, but these memories hold energy. They hold a radiant field as well. And you might open up something and look at pictures of your mother who's passed on, or your brother or your twin. I know a lot of people whose twin died, and that's a very traumatic kind of a situation that can really leave you feeling empty. And none of these things that have happened to us mean anything specific. They're not good or bad. It's what we decide. So we are in the power position, but we didn't know this before. So we decided this was bad and this was good. We feel bad when this happens, when this nice thing happens and we get a present or we make money or we have someone compliment us, we feel good. And if we lose money or we have somebody say something critical to us, we feel bad. Well, here's what I want you to do is decide right now, you're no longer allowing anyone or anything, past memories, future fears, what's happening right now, or who's around you, the news or somebody you know, nothing outside of you is going to trigger you, create for you, decide how you feel and what you do. So we're dealing with a very big declaration there, because now you're stepping out of your comfort zone, out of your survival habits, your survival beliefs. People will justify and validate who they are. Well, I don't have what I want because I'm exhausted, because I'm doing everything for everyone else all the time, et cetera, et cetera. So whatever your excuses are, whatever your validations are, whatever you believe is the reason that you don't have what you want or feel the way you want to feel or can't can't do what you really want to do, or you don't even know what you want or what you want to do. I understand. I work with people all the time, and I see these situations and I see the energetics in your field. They're vibrating, they're speaking, they're constantly sending out a signal. You've got to clear and cleanse your field, release the triggers that go, ah, and then irrationally you feel emotion, or you cry, or you feel panicky, or you feel fear, or you worry. These habits and patterns are creating dis-ease. They are toxic, and the only reason you have a physical, mental, or emotional dis-ease is because of these patterns we're talking about. So I'm going to share with you why this tool, which is often called emotional freedom technique, it was originally called thought field therapy. It's been proven, it's been measured that when you do this, it's based on ancient Chinese medicine, meridians, acupuncture points, and so on. And until, the last 40 years or so, it was just these ancient systems that were saying this is what's real, this is true, and then people were getting great healing. So, but the scientific or medical communities who like to, think that they can decide whether things are true based on inventing a machine that can see something they don't believe in. So we are getting to that point where if you need that logical proof, you can look it up. You can see everything is vibration, everything is thought, everything is affected by your thought, your emotion. When you speak, when the feeling you have when you speak, the words you choose, the way you choose to see it, the actions you take, the thoughts that you have become things, affect reality, and affect other people's minds. And literally through law of attraction, it's not some stupid thing someone made up. It's a law of the universe. Reveals attracts like. It's a law of physics or magic. Magic and alchemy are laws of the universe in action. Physical laws, Newtonian laws, are very, very limited laws, and they're only true in a very small dimension or state of reality. Now we know of quantum physics and so on. So watch the movie, What the Bleep Do We Know? Down the Rabbit Hole. Wonderful movie. Tell you a lot more about the vibrations and the addictions, how we are literally addicted to negative thinking, complaining, blaming, sugar, things like that. Yes. But we're talking about emotions now. Now, can you use this to free yourself from an attachment to, or a craving for, or an addiction to sugar or other things? Yes, because you're looking at what is underneath it emotionally, and what is the decision that you made that imprinted that pattern that says, I loved Cheetos. Talk about a horrible food, right? It's not even food. It's like plastic with toxic chemicals on it. I loved Cheetos. So if I got triggered by my family in college, I would go buy a bag of Cheetos. And then I'd have the orange fingers. So, so we have different ways. Maybe you drink some wine, maybe you cry, maybe whatever, but we have these survival techniques, and we don't have to do toxic things to ourselves. We don't have to abuse ourselves anymore in order to free ourselves from that. Here's the goal. You're a free, happy, harmonious, peaceful, loving, giving, generous, spiritual being, walking in a body, knowing you're divine, knowing you're abundant, knowing everything is here for you, knowing the universe is always taking care of you, always guiding you to the best place, and creating from a place of overflow, surplus, joy, whether it's belief in support or energy or creative ideas, time, help people, money, whatever it is. Okay. There's no lack. That's an illusion. So we've been convinced, and there's lots of people around us and lots of things that are going to try to convince you. And if you allow them to tell you who you are or what's real, if you allow exterior things to trigger your emotions, your feelings, and what you think it means, you are not creating your life consciously. You are not choosing what you want, and you are not living up to the agreement you made with the universe, which is often called dharma or duty, dharma. And it's literally the mission or the agreement we made to come be a wealthy, happy, harmonious, loving creator, creating from overflow and bliss and letting the universe to guide us and lead us. It may be so far out of your reality right now to believe what I'm saying. That's fine. Take some classes with me. Keep moving forward. Remember, you are the one that creates your reality. So you can decide it means something or it's true, or you can decide it doesn't mean anything and it's not true. That's just completely up to you. Okay, let me just say hi. I'm so excited too. But girl is creep. Butt girl. Oh, hi Tiffany. Yeah, butt girl, right? The butt girl. Hi MK. Hi Pamela. Hi Crystal Star. Let's see who else is here. Hi Lisa. Hi Witness. So what's so interesting, right, is that these, you can tell some of these are my students because we talk about the poor girl in your mind, the one that says, oh, I never get anything, poor me, blah, blah, blah. Or the butt girl, oh yeah, that's great, but what if it doesn't work out? But something, right? So what's fun about EFT, TFT, and you can go out on the internet and you can research and you'll find probably 8 million videos and an overwhelming amount of science and other information about why this works. And that's the reason why I wanted to do this for my students, for my clients, for you, because I do this in a little bit different way. And in my workshop, I'm going to give you the actual scripts. There's called scripts, tapping points where you tap on. Why does it work? What does it work? We're going to go into the why today. We're going to go into a little bit of the what today. And it does take that because I've made the decision to go to the Canada retreat, old stories, fears, and cravings. Yes, right? And that's what happens when we decide to step out of our comfort zone, when we decide to listen to our heart rather than our fear, when we decide to listen to ourselves rather than everybody else. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you should wait, blah, 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 right? Then you do enter a place where all of those old vows and agreements you made start to pop up. You can feel emotional. And then if you believe that your emotions are true, then you can say, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to do that. I remember a long time ago, before the internet, we would do sessions on the phone. People would send me snail mail with their situation. And that was a really long time ago. And what would happen is sometimes people would try to call me in order to talk to me about their problem to see if I was the right one to work with. And I like to do that because maybe I'm not the right person for you to work with, right? Maybe you're in a place where that's not my specialty, or you really need someone else, and then I would refer them. And I can't tell you how many people would give up. They'd get the courage to try to contact me, which I know it takes courage to say, I need help. I'm going to do this class. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to go to this retreat. I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to put time on me, because we're taught not to do those things for ourselves, that we're being selfish or greedy, or there's not enough money, time, and so on. And people would say, well, I tried to call you, but the phone call didn't go through. So I guess that's a sign from the universe. It's not meant to happen. Now, the universe talks to us in many, many ways, but when you give up that easy, you're never going to get what you want. And if you've come to one of my retreats, and so many people come to my retreats that don't have the time, don't have the money, don't have the support, are afraid to travel, have a health issue. I've had people come on my Mayan retreats who had IBS. I mean, talk about brave, right? Or other physical challenges, or wow, one lady. So what do we do on those? We go in the water, sometimes with the dolphins. We go into caves, cenotes, that are water caves. We climb up pyramids. So we're going to heights, and we're going in caves, and we're going in water. And she contacted me and she said, I just know I'm supposed to come to your retreat and I need to talk to you. I said, okay, what can I help you with? I'm afraid of water and I'm afraid of heights. And I thought, and you want to come to this? She came to 2 of them in a row. And she was the one who said, could we do 7 days instead of 5? And we did, because of her. She came, she faced those fears, and everyone else on the retreat got to be a part of her healing and her support. And it was phenomenal to see the healing that happened for everyone, because no one else actually had a conscious fear of water. But I'm like, you do know we get in water and we climb things that are tall, you know, and we don't really climb the really tall ones anymore. They don't let us, but you get what I mean. And she's like, I don't care. I'm not willing to let anything stop me anymore. And the sooner I do this, because I know this is calling my heart and I feel passionate about what you're going to do emotionally and spiritually. She was very serious about her spiritual path. She would come, we would do the day. And then when other people would like go out and have a drink or have dinner, she would go to her room by herself and eat her little healthy food and write and journal and meditate and think. And she was really dedicated to her transformation. And she met another person at this retreat. They became best friends. And it was a man who came to every retreat I did for 5 years. And then the next retreat, when she came back 6 months later, because I used to do them twice a year on the equinoxes, they roomed together everywhere. They became such close friends. And it was profound. I remember when we were climbing Koba, this one pyramid, it's sometimes called the tallest Mayan pyramid. I don't think it is, but at the time, that's what they thought. And there was no railings or whatever. And a lot of people have to climb on their hands and feet or sit, take breaks and stuff like that. So I looked, and there he was with her, step by step. And he was fit and healthy and had no problem, and he could run up that thing. But he was willing to sit there and be with her. There were other people from our group coming up and just giving her encouragement, patting her on the back, saying, you've got this. When she got to the top, we celebrated together. When she finished the day, we celebrated together. There's such a profound transformational shape shifting that can happen when you get out of your comfort zone and you don't let your fears and your triggers stop you. So if she'd had this tool, she could have used it without even going up the pyramids and then help her to get up the pyramids. But this is a tool that you can use forever, okay, in all situations, because we clear this, we clear that. And what happens in the workshop, I'm going to teach you that there's many layers. And as maybe you're triggered by a particular fear, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? And should I go? And I'm afraid to do this. And what if people don't like me, or whatever's coming up, right? And I've been there, I can tell you. Most of it, I've been there. And I really had just an inner desire. I don't want to have anything get in my way. I want to do the things I want to do. I want to create the life I want. I want to feel the way I want to feel. I want peace. I just don't want to do this anymore. So I was willing to face my fear. I was willing to stand up and teach meditation and sweat and stutter and turn red, all blotchy and everything. So it's not necessarily perfect and pretty. So don't be attached to, is it perfect? Where's the result? Did I get it? And all of that stuff, because that's just another habit that keeps you stuck and enslaved. So now is the time to get out. And what happens is that you might have like, a fear. Let's say, for this lady, okay, she's staring up at this huge pyramid going, oh shit, what did I get myself into, right? And of course, if she hadn't wanted to go up, we would have supported her in that too. We wouldn't have bullied her or made her feel bad. That's what's great about what I do. I'm working with you energetically and spiritually. We're working with the elements of the land, the ancestors, the guardians of light, your guardians, your traumas, your body. All of that comes into play, especially when we're in a retreat together, but also in the classes. So she could have said, okay, I'm going to do this meridian tapping, energy, psychology, whatever you want to call it, thing in order to get the panic down. It's really good for that immediate, right? Trauma reaction. Oh, someone just cut me off. Oh my God, I just saw, a dog hit by a car. Oh my God, I just remembered my mother died, whatever, okay? It gets that to go down and bring you into calm, into clarity. But then in the workshop, I'm going to teach you how to test yourself and how to know, let's say you started at a 15 out of 10, right? Like I'm just freaking out, right? And now when you do a round of the process, and then you go, well, where am I now? Well, now I'm at a 10. Okay, well, I'll do it again. Well, now I'm at a 5. Now I'm at a 3. And then you suddenly go, oh my God, now I'm back at a 10 again. Why? Because underneath one fear is something else. We are the layers of the onion. And that's what's beautiful about these energy tools, these energy techniques, the processes that I take you through in person or in the classes, the meditations, the declarations, the activations, whatever you want to call them. There's all these different tools that you can use in a practical way to help you. But you have to recognize, don't be in what I call the new age mentality, which was like, if I just think positive for 2 days, then the whole world's going to be perfect and nothing bad will happen to me again. So I did that and worked really hard at creating my new ideas about life and meditating and doing all these things. And then my daughter died. So then I was like, well, screw this shit. This is all bullshit and I hate God and blah, blah, right? And I had to start over. But what happens is we pull one layer away and we get calm enough to hear or feel maybe there's maybe one layer is just absolute panic and trauma. And then the next layer is anger. And then the next layer is craving and disappointment. And it may be that you go through those, but most people feel very dramatic reduction in the intensity, the triggering emotional field. And here's one of the most important things. We don't want to radiate that and attract more trauma. You don't have an accident. You create the accident through your vibration, through your thoughts, through all the years of consistent thoughts of fear or anxiety and so on. Okay. Hi, lovely lady. How do I change things being one sinned in my friendship? Please, I hope this changes. I don't know what that means. Being one kind? It says SIND. Crystal Star, could you clarify that? My roommate from my Texas trip is a soul friend, and we're really close friends. I can't wait to meet new friends in Canada. I've been calling in friends. Exactly. And I remember you told me that you had a little bit of trauma when you went on that retreat, and you and her trauma bonded, which is such a great thing. And this is what happens, right? In war or in any kind of really traumatic situation, you can trauma bond because you support each other. And there's just, whether you're feeling okay and that other person's completely freaked out or you're both freaked out, there is this deep connection and beautiful friendships that we can create that way. When I catch the fear thoughts, I've been sending them to Ishmukane to transmute it. Excellent. So Ishmukane, for those of you who don't know, do I have her here? No. She's the Mayan grandmother, jaguar grandmother. She's the heart of the earth. And she sits in the earth. She takes your egos, she takes your fears, she takes your pain, she remolds them, she transmutes them, she feeds them back to you with beauty, bliss, gems, and love, right? Hi, soul family. Hi, Cosmic. I've created a ton of physical pain, right? I remember you telling me that in class. So the physical pain is, again, created from all these toxic thoughts, these beliefs that we've had. And if you've triggered that after something big that's happened, like for you recently, it's often what's called in homeopathy an aggravation. An aggravation means something gets worse before it gets better. And in the Western medical world, they're only treating symptoms. So they're giving you pain pills or mental health pills or whatever that doesn't go to the cause and doesn't fix the problem. So you're still emitting these energies, these emotions. You're still creating the toxins in your field and in your body. But what's happening is that physical pain is leaving, it's coming up because you've suppressed it. Why? What are you holding on to? What is there? So you can use this for that. And I know you're coming on Sunday. So one-sided friendships. One-sided. Thank you for clarifying that, Crystals. So Sometimes where I do all the traveling, they don't come to me or they always let me down. Sorry, no, you don't have to be sorry. It's one little typo. I'm the typo queen. Don't do that. Don't say you're sorry for yourself. Okay. Don't say you're sorry for yourself and don't give yourself labels. You're perfect. You're fabulous. And I love you. Okay, so yes, one-sided friendships, right? What are you creating? You have a belief somewhere that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve friendships, that you're not valued, that you're not seen, that you're not worthy, that you're not heard. And that lack of self-worth in whatever way, wherever it came from, in all the years and different forms that it has, is what's creating this. And you can, through this process, as well as the Create Your Own Reality class we're doing right now, which is available still, and you get the audios, and we have 2 more classes left if you want to come live. I think it might even still be on sale in the shop. But we create these, okay? So what you're doing is getting the reflection of what you believe, and it might be completely subconscious, but here's what happens to many of us, and I've been there. You try to be the nice one, you try to chase people, you try to do everything. I gave everything to them, I overgave to them, I didn't ask for anything, I don't have any money because I'm paying everyone else's rent, I don't have this because of that, I'm the nice one. I used to say, but I'm the nice one. Why is my family acting like this? It's not understanding our truth, which is we're divine, magnificent light beings. We are valuable just being who we are. When we accept that and we activate that and we live that way, we don't need to prove anything. We don't need to chase anyone. We don't need to worry about having anyone in our lives. And then the more we radiate from that joyful place of I'm so fabulous, I love my life, I love being me, I love my ideas, I love my creativity, we start attracting amazing, beautiful people that you can't attract when you're feeling like you're never good enough. And that was how I spent most of my life. So I understand that. Worthiness, exactly. I shed a bunch of those friendships last year, yes. And this is what happens is oftentimes we want to keep everything the same. We don't want to upset anyone. We don't want to break up with any friendships. We don't want to leave any family members out. We don't want to, get away from the critical people we've been spending all of our life with. But the problem is they're toxic and it isn't their fault. We have to let them be whatever they want, but make a choice to take care of us, and we can't be around them. So I'll tell you a quick story before I did a bunch of EFT online yesterday. It took the edge off things, but it just got much worse. Okay, so that's okay. So you know what to do with the class that you're taking with me now, right? So you say, wow, isn't that fantastic? I released it. I saw it go down and I uncovered a whole new bunch. I'm so glad it's coming up. It's finally time to clear this. I don't want to carry it around anymore. I'm so grateful. You see what I mean? This is where you're going to go with that, right? So letting go of friendships is difficult. Wanting other people to agree with you, validate you, say they're sorry. You have to let go of the good opinion of others on all levels, right? Of that. Let's see, I just want to make sure. Okay, so here's something before as we get ready to dive in a little bit here, is that, what some of you are talking about is to recognize and understand that your power is in you. What you say, how you describe it. Now, if you have to say, look, I have a lot of physical pain, how do I say that? How do I convey that? How do I communicate that and not say I have a lot of physical pain? Okay, I understand. All right. So here's the thing is you say, wow, isn't it interesting? All of this physical pain that's coming up. I'm so happy that I'm now aware of it instead of just tolerating it, suppressing it, living with it. I've created it. I don't understand how or why, but I'm ready to transmute it. Thank you. You see, you're grateful for what is. So this is the workshop on Sunday. And if you go to the shop, shop.nanakasha.com, you'll see it there. Like I said, it's $17. And then if you want to upgrade to $39, which is normally 125, you get the course as well. So everything's here kind of just basically is not a lot to talk about in terms of we're going to dive in and we're going to take some time to go through why this works, what it is, and we're going to use it. We're going to apply it to common situations. You can come and ask me questions, and we will be actually doing it. And I'll be giving you a couple different processes. Actual do exactly this, and you will see a difference. Okay, so let's go deeper into what is going on with all of this, because I always click because the key here is that we are operating out of automatic programs, and they are not for our benefit, and most of them are not good, and they're not healthy, but they're normal, and we've been feeling them for a long time. We're used to them. Even when we're miserable, it's more familiar and easier to stay in our misery, or in unhappiness, or with people we don't like, or in a job we dislike, than to get out of it and experience that discomfort. A lot of people are addicted to comfort. I don't want to do that. I don't want to upset anybody, right? We are also have given our power away, most of us, to make other people happy. We put their happiness first. Well, if I tell this person I'm not driving them to the park every day with their dog because I need time for my life now, they're going to be upset, and then I'm going to feel bad. I just coached a client of mine who is breaking up with someone. It's a friendship, not a romantic thing, but a very long-term friendship that is kind of complicated because they do things together. And every time they do things together, like trips, she feels like she's saving this other person. She's showing up. She's tolerating all of their habits that are unhealthy and disrespectful. She's not wanting to speak up and upset anyone. She says, I can't save her anymore. I can't do that anymore. I can't save people. No, you can't. And so if you feel that way about someone, it's a very unhealthy relationship, and you aren't doing them a service either. And I walked her through understanding that by speaking her truth, but in a kind way, that I can't do this anymore. I'm not taking trips with you anymore. I'm not doing this part of our relationship anymore. I love and respect you very much. However, it's time for us to go our separate ways. We can stay in touch, but whatever. She said, well, I feel bad. I said, why do you want to feel bad when you're doing something that's liberating you and her? You're holding yourself back. You're here to become something. You're here to create something. If you're holding yourself back and saying, well, I never had time, or I was afraid, or I didn't face that fear, you feel so good when you get out of your comfort zone. You meet the most amazing people. You have magical experiences. You get out of your routine. You get out of your world. You completely transform your mind. You free yourself of beliefs. You free yourself of traumas. You become a completely different person, and it's all good. So letting people go out of your life can feel hard, and they may be people who get upset, and that's okay. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to let them abuse you or criticize you. You can do it in a very kind way. Don't blame other people. That's a whole other trap, okay? And then do this to help you walk yourself through it. Every single thing you're doing to free yourself from old patterns, thoughts, beliefs, relationships, situations, jobs, conditions, houses, whatever that is toxic to you, that is lowering your frequency, that is like an energy vampire that's like sucking your energy or triggering you. Some people live in environments where they're constantly being triggered, and they're in this constant adrenal fatigue, right? Or they are so conditioned to be afraid of everything and to worry about everything. Worrying is negative creating. You're creating what you don't want. And it can seem like a difficult pattern to interrupt, but that's part of what this is. So this is about tapping into calm. And the method is that I've developed from these other tools is called the calm clarity method, because you come into the eternal present moment. You free yourself from that static, that agitation, and you get clear on the next step. And you don't get addicted to, why isn't it changed? And when's it going to change? And what if it comes back? That's that new age mindset where you are addicted to seeing it before you're willing to believe it and then drawing it back into your life. But I thought it went away, but it only lasted a few minutes. That's because you went back and picked up the poop again, right? Oh my gosh, I left the poop behind. It's so wonderful. I don't have the poop anymore. Oh no. And you go pick up the poop again. Why do I have poop again? Because you went and picked it up. This is just a habit. It's very common. So this is science, spirit, and energy that I'm combined in, like in most of my school, is the emotional freedom. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, if you want to come to the Canada retreat, we still have a few more spots, so please jump in. It's truly amazing. Truly, I don't even know what to say anymore. There's some shows about it. The energy medicine we're going to do, the land, the crystals, the beautiful house, the lake we're going to be on, the water medicine and magic we're going to do, the Native American woman who's coming to do an incredible healing ceremony with us. I'm going to be doing a Mayan fire ceremony. I'm going to teach you how to scry. I'm going to take you through a mirror process, meaning not like looking in an actual mirror, but a Mayan type of obsidian mirror. Okay, I'm bringing these. And we're going to eat together and live together and do beautiful, yummy things together. So give yourself permission to get out of your life. I have people who want to come, but they actually have real, like someone's getting married or someone's dying during it. And I have people who say, oh, I wish I could come, but they're just sitting and staring at the money. Well, do I feel comfortable spending the money? I don't know. That means they have not engaged their heart. They have not engaged all the reasons that they want this transformation, this experience, these new friends. The door is open to you. All right. So if you have fear, use this. Scotland is open too. And we've got some very interesting things happening. Only 6 spots. One's taken. 2 more are almost taken. And it's super magical. So I'll do some more about that. In January, I'm doing a retreat with Neil from Portal to Ascension. Very different. We're going to be doing pyramids. And then in late February, March, I'm going to be doing with my Mayan elders, 2 elders, we're going to be doing a priestess pilgrimage to Palenque, and I'll be having more details on that soon. It is truly, truly one of the most deep things to my heart, because we're going to go down to the sacred place and re-access our ancient wisdom. Also, come before the Scotland retreat, come to the Glastonbury Portal to Ascension Conference, where I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be doing private sessions. I'm going to be taking people private access if you want to come along with me to the Chalice Well, to the White Springs, and I'm also going to be doing a free talk at the Goddess House. So let's take a look at today. Now, this is Sunday, and if you're watching this later, it's there available for you. It's going to be about a 4-hour or 2 hours. It says, I'm thinking with helping you personally be more like 3 hours. And we're releasing fear, calming your nervous system, clearing your emotional overwhelm, and using this as a daily tool that you can shift from stress, worry, brain fog, triggers, right? Trauma, into peace, presence, and inner guidance. And this is important, because how on earth do you walk through your life consciously being the creator of it and enjoying your life regardless of what's happening around you, and being able to say, of course, the universe is for me, right? I also have some oracle readings still on sale, although they're going down pretty quick. My soul activations, mission activations, these are one-on-one sessions. And let's go down now. Okay, so tapping into clarity and calm is kind of a play on words, because tapping is actually tapping on different meridian points, on different, if you're familiar at all with Chinese medicine or energy medicine, you know that we have things called meridians. These are a liver or a stomach or a kidney. And you have different points that if they put a needle or do acupressure on those points, it can free heat, trauma, and other things of old memories, old wounds, toxins, dis-ease, works on all levels from the body, mind, and emotions. So we're talking about taking back your emotional and mental power so you can create the life you desire, and you can get out of your comfort zone over and over and over, keep going to what's unveiling for you. Because when you do, like Tiffany said, and she says, I'm going to the Canada retreat, even though it's triggering fears, even though I had to figure out how, this is going to be amazing. I know it's going to be amazing. Then once you've done that, you're a different person for a lot of different reasons. But the fact that you made that choice, it showed up, it happened, you manifested it, you went, you got new friends, and all the other things we talked about. Now you're at a different state of consciousness. You've freed yourself. You've rewired some of those neural pathways. You've freed yourself from certain loops and patterns that go over and over within you, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You think, see, and feel differently. You dream differently. You decide what you want to do differently. You less and less let other things and exterior circumstances decide for you or affect you. And then when you have your emotional and mental power, you really do start to create the life you desire, and you start to discover what it is that I really want to do and why am I here. So any kind of emotional overwhelm, stress, seeing your relationships with, why do I have friends who don't value me? Don't have them anymore, and decide that you're valuable. And then you'll start to shift that, right? If you're stressed, if you're reactive, if you keep saying, oh, that was really nice, but what do I do about this? Or what am I doing wrong? Or why does this keep happening to me? You keep choosing it. You keep picking the poop up. If you're stuck in that cycle of moods that drain your energy, then you want to tap into this calm. So let me see here. Let's take a look. So why you're full of hidden emotional triggers. We've talked about this a little bit because of your life, because of life in a human body, because of your family and what they taught you and how they acted and what they said and how they treated you, because of anyone else in your life, your school, your government, based on what gender you are, what culture you live in, what religion you may be. There's all kinds of stuff that we were taught, we were given. And when we had, like, we were embarrassed in class and the teacher made fun of us and all the kids laughed, we made a decision. And we said, oh, I'm not going to speak up. I'm just going to be the wallflower in the back, right? And then you really want to lead something. You want to do something. You want to speak up, but you don't know, or you have the answer, or you could invent, the rocket ship, and yet you're holding back because of that fear. So they come from your ancestral DNA. They come from your family, your environment, and your memory bank. They come from cultural and collective conscious. And their decisions, choices, agreements, vows, decrees that you have made. And when the longer you've made them, the longer you've thought that way and what you thought they meant, the more they're automatically creating your life and what's in it. And that's why we call them their hidden emotional triggers, because they're these little samskaras, these little microchips that are beep, beep, beep. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me. I don't like. I've got to go chase everybody. No one sees me. No one sees me. I'm not valuable. I don't get paid. I'm afraid, whatever it is, right? So it's absolutely necessary to stop overwhelm before it takes over your day. And that's this is one of those tools that you can not have to get triggered at 10 in the morning and wait until you get home and you can meditate, or you can do your copal, or you can hold your crystals, or you can walk on the beach to calm yourself, to free yourself. Maybe you're busy and you're in the middle of it. So you want to stop the overwhelm. You want to interrupt the pattern and the trigger as soon as possible, so it doesn't go down that pathway of, and then you start thinking, the poor girl, the butt girl, oh my God, about this. Oh, there it is again. This is a shit show, right? This is easy and simple to shift the emotional chaos to clarity. So chaos is static, right? If it's like, doesn't make sense, you can't get a beat on things, you don't feel centered, you don't feel stable, you don't feel secure, you don't feel strong, you don't feel clear, you don't know what to do, you get thrown off balance. You go, I had a very dear friend send me a message yesterday or the day before, and she said, I need to, when can we talk in person? Because there's something that's bothering me. And I thought, oh my God, I had no idea there was a problem between us. I want to know immediately, because I don't want my mind to start wandering and thinking and worrying and whatever. And I know how to handle that now. So it's not like it takes me down, but it did start to bother me. And I said, and I'm going away. So I was like, oh my God, I'm not waiting 3 weeks to deal with this, right? So I said, let's talk right now. We can't wait till I come back. I don't want to do that. I need to know what's wrong. Let's talk about it. Let's solve it. What can we do? I had no idea anything was bothering you. And it just turned out to be how she was saying it. She said, oh, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with business, with certain aspects of doing business. And it's just bothering me. And since we're both in businesses, I just wanted to talk to you about that. But it has nothing to do with us, right? Whew. But look at how your mind can start making up stories. Luckily, I don't really go down that road, but in the past, it really would have taken me down. And I would have walked around all grumpy and sad and emotional and worried and full of fear, okay? So the simple secret to calm your nervous system fast is to interrupt it or recognize it immediately and immediately start saying certain words. So we use the law of substitution and replacement in replacing certain thoughts and words like, oh no, this is terrible, with, wow, this is interesting. I wonder where this is going to lead. I thought it was going to end up this way, but it isn't. The universe must have something way better for me, right? So we're learning in the Create Your Reality class on how to use your words, thoughts, feelings, and actions to interrupt these patterns and calm your nervous system down so that you can then choose what you want to think and what it means, because your power really is in what you think something means, and nothing is actually bad. So we need to not say that, oh, bad news. Somebody texted me and said, bad news. I said, don't ever do that. There is no such thing. I don't need to open a text from you and start with bad news. Okay. And leave feeling. So I want you to leave feeling more empowered, right? Centered, focused, and empowered. So you don't have to stay stuck in emotional patterns that keep stealing your peace, and practical tools you can use right away. So let's look at this. Discovering, we talked about that. So why do we get stuck? When life triggers us, we often react automatically. So fear is a projection that something is uncertain, that it is bad, that it could go in a wrong way, and that you're holding back from stepping in and saying, all right, what am I doing here? What do we need now? What if you were the one there's a big car accident and you drive up and everybody's like laying around and freaking out, and you drive up and you're the one who's calm and everybody's in fear, and you're like, okay, let's get this together. I'm not freaking out. And what can we do? I went on a wild dolphin swim once, and we were on this boat. We went out, we stayed out there for 5 days on this not glamorous boat, waiting for dolphins, and we would jump in and we'd swim with the dolphins. And while we were swimming with the dolphins one day, a storm came up. It wasn't raining, but it got very choppy. And they called us back in, come back into the ship. And so we all swam over there, and we got on the little platform on the back of the boat, and the ladder broke. So everybody had to climb up this ladder to get back on the boat. And so they're standing up there and we're standing down here, and the boat's doing this and the waves are coming up, and everybody's just kind of like, oh my God, oh my God. And we're all waiting for the people who run the boat to solve the problem. And I'm quite strong. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, so the ladder was like, instead of like, maybe 8 rungs, it was like 3, it was like way up here. And I was like, nothing's happening, and the waves are getting worse. This is not working. People are hanging on to the boat, and we're trying to like stay here and hold on to each other and everything. So I just was like so calm, because the dolphins, being with the dolphins, they recalibrate you. They're better than this process. So I just turned around, and without asking anybody permission, I just looked at somebody and I said, come here, give me your foot. And I put their foot in my hand, and I shoved them up. I lifted them up, and I yelled to the guy up in the boat, and I said, hey, get this lady. And I got her up to where she could grab the ladder, and then they pulled her up. And I sat there and did that with every single person on that boat. All right. So when you're in fear, you're letting irrational emotions keep you from taking action that can solve the problem. There is no problem that doesn't have a solution. They come together. Okay. Anxiety is the emotional state of fear. And the emotional state of fear is, anxiety can be something you live with all the time. We have low level anxiety now. Like I'm always just like nervous and anxious. And I'm not sure. It means you don't trust. It means that you never relax. You never rejuvenate. You never nourish. And therefore you're feeling weak and unstable. Overwhelm. Most people feel overwhelmed now. Well, unplug. Don't scroll. Don't listen to the news. Don't ask 15 people their opinion about something. Talk to spirit. Go within. Talk to your dog. Be very discerning who you're talking to, what you're reading, what you're feeding your mind, and decide, I'm not overwhelmed. I have everything within me. You can start to make new declarations, but the habit is to be overwhelmed. There's so many things happening. Worry, like I said, is a common habit that people have. Well, if I don't worry, what do I do? Believe me, when I don't worry, which is very small now, I feel if everything just felt too easy. Am I forgetting something? So worry is just creating more problems, right? It's like thinking about bad things that could happen or that you won't show up on time, right? Or whatever it is. Anger, we already know, very toxic. Self-doubt is the biggest thing because you undermine yourself when if you were like, well, I trust myself. I always know what to do. I'm here. I'm 65. I could do anything. I've survived this long. I'm going to trust myself, and inside of me are all the answers. And then you start getting ideas and strength and look around. Okay. An emotional shutdown. And this is something that can happen because you have so much that you just emotionally can't function. Whether you're just freeze, fight or flight. You freeze, fight, flight, or freeze. There it is. There's actually three aspects to that. Sometimes people just freeze, or you just become completely fogged over. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know where to go at this point. So these reactions become habits. They're encoded, like we mentioned, and that's the biggest problem. So we're going to look at the scale of consciousness because your emotional state affects your thoughts, decisions, relationships, health, manifestations, and your reality because you are creating your reality. Awareness is the first step to freedom. You don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to think about it. Oh, I don't want to ever. You make sure that you feel good all the time in whatever way you can. You make that choice, you get a break, come back, look at what situation, but become aware that if I'm the one creating this and I no longer want this, what do I want, right? You can't change what you're not conscious of unless you're declaring energetically, vibrationally different things. So EFT is called emotional freedom technique. TFT is called thought field therapy. And it combines tapping on these acupressure points, focused awareness, emotional processing, and sometimes it's called energy psychology or psychological acupressure because it helps calm emotional distress and reduce stress responses. TFT was developed by Roger Callahan. His wife still teaches it, and it uses specific tapping frequencies, a deep understanding of the meridians and like this gamut point and what I say and stuff on energy and meridians while focused on a particular emotional state or saying certain statements. The goal is to reduce the emotional intensity and restore balance to the body's energy system. So you don't go, oh, this is going to cure all my problems. You go, I need to get out of stress, overwhelm, fear, anxiety, triggers, okay? Get to a place where I'm calm and I'm clear, and then I can take the next step. So there's a lot of science behind it. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it here. You can look it up, but it does calm the nervous system. They've hooked people up to instruments that can actually detect that mass is leaving you. The heaviness of the fear is actually detectable, and it leaves you, and you can hear and see the static leaving, and you can also detect that you have let go of some weight. It's actually has weight to it. Interesting. Reduce stress responses. That's reacting, right? Lowering emotional intensity, supporting emotional regulation. That helps you to be like, stay more calm or stay more happy, ride the waves of all the emotions, but not from it being out of your control or irrational. Shifting brain activity from fight, flight, or freeze towards calm. And then all these other beautiful things that happen. So all these things we've talked about, your emotions are your power. It is energy in motion. Emotion means energy in motion. You have to be in motion in order to change your life. Your thoughts need to be moving forward, thinking differently, getting out of the pattern. You heard the saying by Einstein or somebody, right? You can't solve a problem on the same level of consciousness that caused the problem or detected the problem or believes in the problem. And that is movement to a higher state of consciousness, going up with the eagle and having a perspective. Whatever kind of medicine or perspective you like to look at, more of a scientific one, more of an indigenous culture one, more of a mystery school one, more of an energy, whatever it is. So emotions are important, but our emotional field is full of toxins and heaviness. So therefore, we actually don't have the level of clarity, energy, physical energy, stamina, resilience, excitement, motivation, inspiration that we're meant to have on a regular basis. So whatever you repeatedly think, feel, believe, expect, and focus on shapes the experiences that you notice, attract, and create. So my unique approach is going to be, we're going to be sharing on Sunday, is to interrupt the emotional overwhelm. Okay, regulate the nervous system, gain clarity quickly, and release the emotional charge. Okay, there's a charge there. Do this releasing, the static is going. Okay, now it's coming, the picture's coming clear, even if it's just reduced, right? And being able to respond consciously instead of reacting automatically. Stop a spiral of worry, calm yourself in minutes, release emotional overwhelm, feel centered during challenges. It doesn't mean that things don't happen that are challenging, difficult, strange, unusual, or weird. They do, but you can feel centered, and then you have access to solutions, and you may be super happy with the new outcome, which often happens because you gained your strength, you gained your clarity, you feel more trust in yourself for handling it a certain way, and you got a whole new idea and a whole new solution, or you met new resources and people. Think clearly under pressure. This is very important, not to fog up, get overwhelmed, go into trauma, react, oh, I'm an empath, I can't handle that, or that kind of thing. And help return you to peace, which is number one required state for anything, for prosperity, for happiness, power, and presence. Okay. Being calm is not being weak. Being calm is powerful. When you're calm, you can make choices. When you're calm, you can see solutions. When you're calm, you don't get sucked into a bunch of stories and dramas and lies and illusions. Okay. That's the key. All right. So let's go back to the scale. And I want to just share a little bit about the scale with you today before we close up. So why does it matter that you have this ability to calm yourself, to one, you're going to feel more calm just knowing you have this tool, right? You're going to feel better that you can get down into hopelessness. You can feel condemned. You can be blaming people or feel like people are blaming you. You can feel shame. You can feel miserable. You can despise people. You could be frightened. You can be full of anxiety. You can have regrets. You can have withdraw from people. I'm not doing that. You can feel like you're punished. You can be in denial. You can be stuck and enslaved and feel like I can't ever change. Nothing it works out for me. You can be constantly in craving. Most people are at the state of addiction or desire where you're craving. If I just get this, then everything will be fine. If I just have the money, then everything will be fine. If I just find the love of my life, everything will be fine. Then I'll be okay. It's a trap. It's not true. And you're in this desire disappointment loop because your mind is disappointed, and then you're unsatisfied and you're unfulfilled, and you're looking for and seeing the things that say, see, I never get that, and that person got that, and I don't get that, right? And all these other things. Then you are attracting and you're seeing and you're vibrating at a similar frequency with things that mean the same thing to you. So it's a very, very important thing to stop creating from a deep force states of emotion. You can keep looking down here from 175 or pride down, shame to pride. These are force states. That means the energies are very heavy. They feel heavy. It takes force. It takes a lot of intention, a lot of power in order to power through. It takes willpower. And here's the thing, your subconscious mind, which holds all these patterns that are creating your life right now, does not bend to willpower. You know, if you're like, I'm going to lose weight and then willpower. I had a friend who did a certain program, and he was an enormous man, very, very, very overweight. And it was one of these programs where with drugs that you could lose weight really fast. And he was doing it. He was like, I'm doing it. I'm making it happen. He was so motivated, so excited. And he worked out and he was eating this powders and whatever he was doing, and he was losing weight so fast, and it was so inspiring and so fantastic. And after, I don't know what it was, 5 weeks or 2 months or something of him doing it, he reached a level of satisfaction and decided to give himself, relax a little bit and then go to the next step. And he just went out and ate nonstop. He could not control it. Emotionally, he had not dealt with the reasons that he had put the weight on, why he was hiding himself or not feeling good enough or holding himself back or weighing himself down or not wanting to be attractive or whatever. I was very overweight for a lot of my life. So I had to go through those, because every time I would lose weight, I would do the same thing. At some point, I would put it back on plus more, because I hadn't gone to the underlying emotional reasons that I'd put the weight on in the first place. Okay. So that's what this is helping with. And when you realize that there's somebody criticized you, or you felt not pretty or not good enough, or you want to be, I used to think, well, I'll go on stage. I'm an excellent speaker. I believe in what I teach, but I'm not this pretty little blonde lady with a perfect butt and, and long Barbie hair. And so people are going to judge me and not like me. And I can't be successful because I don't look a certain way. So despite the fact that I knew I was competent, that I was really good at what I did, that my clients were getting results, I had another emotional pattern that was then doing what? Well, was creating that in my life. One, the fear. So I wasn't looking for the opportunities. I wasn't seeing the opportunities. The ones I did see, I wasn't saying yes to, or I did, but out of fear. And then I created so-so results, or okay results, or results that went away later, or I attracted fear, or I contracted afterwards. So I put myself out there and I was really brave and I did it and it was so great and everything, wonderful things started happening. And then pretty soon, with a little bit amount of time, I started to kind of shrink. So we want to go into these lower states of consciousness and consciously release, accept, acknowledge the patterns of why we have dysfunctional relationships. We don't feel good enough. We're not paid enough. We're not manifesting. We don't feel secure. We don't feel strong. We are putting on weight we don't want. And if you like your body the way it is, love your body the way it is, and love your body the way it is. And then it might change. You want to have more flexibility, or less dizziness, or, more mobility, or, if you get older, maybe you want to have more stamina, but you're no longer worried about being super skinny and cute to attract somebody and all that kind of stuff, right? So we have these patterns. We talked about what they are. They are existing inside of you. And when you look at the vibrational rates of consciousness, every one of these is a state of consciousness. It's a different dimension. It's a different vibrational rate. Therefore, the frequency and vibration that's being put out from that state is different. It's a different GPS signal. Okay. It's a different phone number. It's a different sequence of energies. Shame is such a low state of consciousness that people who kill themselves are always in shame at this low state of consciousness before they do that. But most of us were told shame on you, which is an epic curse. Please don't ever say that to anyone. and release the shame from in you, because most of us were told to be ashamed. Shame on you, or shame, you should be ashamed. And you know, no, you should not. I give you permission to let that shit go. All right. So take a look at how this works. The state, the vibration, the number means nothing. Okay. Just to let you know that every single state is a huge quantum leap. So similar to the musical scale, it's not just this note, this note, this note. There's all these other little increments within each one. So you could go to the bottom of shame to the top of shame and feel better, because you're not as humiliated. You're getting better with your humiliation before you pop to that next level. And if you watch any movies, The Secret or What the Bleep Do We Know, or anything about quantum physics, you know that a proton or an atom or whatever, it starts moving faster. It raises its vibration. It's pinging, 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 and then it disappears. It literally disappears. And it appears outside of that cell wall, outside of that container, in a different state, a different vibrational rate. This is what you are doing when you're going from regret, grief, to hate and anger. Hate and anger is way more energy than regret and grief, right? So you can work your way up the scale. I call it rock climbing, by just going, you know what? I'm feeling so hopeless. I'm feeling despair. I'm feeling just, I don't even know. I don't even know how to get the energy to get out of this. Get angry. Can you get angry? Can you think of something that pisses you off? Now, you don't stay there, but look at how far you jump to a higher state of consciousness where there's less density. I designed this to look like there's acceptance above the water, and everything below that is under the water. Well, if you've ever dive down to the bottom of a pool, or you do scuba diving, you know that there's pressure, literally pressure. It gets darker, it gets more pressure, it's more dense, it's harder to hear, it's harder to move, it's harder to see. So I decided, as I was working with the scale, working with my clients, I've added things, I've changed some of the words, so you'll see a difference. So get mine in the shop. As you jump up, if you go literally from, let's just look at 75, right? It's just telling you, it's helping you to understand where you are. Grief, regret, tragic thoughts, feeling despondent all around you. You have disdain for yourself, disdain for everything. I don't care. Nothing works out, right? All of these different ways that you could feel at this state of consciousness, right? And we all have different combinations. You might carry a little shame, guilt, craving, guilt, and then feel happy and blissful and understanding and forgiving and be loving towards people in your job, and then feel a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's a mixture, and together they're a soup that then creates the vibration you're giving out. So this is how to shift the vibrational signature and frequency you're sending into the world and into yourself, that then determines what your subconscious mind is going to show you, bring you, what doors it's going to open. Is it going to open today to magical things you didn't even think of, to beautiful, helpful people, or to people who are rude and mean and blockages of like, why won't this work? When is this ever going to work for me? Literally everything is already there, and depending the state of consciousness you're in and the primary energy that all the states you have operating within you. Oh, I don't really think about that grief I have, but it's still in there somewhere. Oh, I'm still mad at my ex, but I don't think about it very often. So it doesn't mean it's not there. You want it gone. So these are all the tools you can use to get rid of these subconscious hidden energies that are sending out a signal 24/7, like little microchips. You can't get away from it until you free yourself from it. So when you jump to anger from any of these lower states of consciousness, they're force states. Remember, it takes force to get out of them. It takes force to think positive. It takes force. And when you say, why can't I be happy? Why can't I be in bliss? Why can't I be in peace and joy? Look how high those states are. They're very high vibrational states. They're very high dimensions, okay? If you think and are judging yourself and getting upset that you did a little meditation and you didn't go from regret and despair up to happiness and bliss, you're being unrealistic and you're self-sabotaging. you're being mean to yourself or someone else. What's wrong with you? Why can't you just let go of that? You know, my God, you're having a panic attack. Just go be happy, for heaven's sakes. Like, okay, you're in the basement, you're in the dungeon, you're locked up with shackles and 14 guards, and you want to be, and you're blaming yourself that you're not roaming in the meadows making flower crowns. Okay, you have to understand this is what the scale is for. So in the workshop, we're going to work with scale 1 to 10 to test your level of intensity as we release. But I'm also going to teach you more about the scale and how to use it. So use this tool. I want to give it to you because it's something very powerful that you can use and take with you today. Is if you're at a state lower than anger. So let's take a look at anger. Anger is the descriptive state, mad, whatever you want to call it. The emotional body is in hate. Hate is one of the most toxic energies to operate from, and it makes you sick. It gives you diseases. It gives you diabetes. It gives you cancer. It gives you, you name it, emotional issues, relationship issues, foggy brain, I don't know, you name it. Hate is one of the most toxic experiences. And if your emotional body, your emotion, your energy in motion is full of hate, what are you doing? Well, you're attracting hate, you're giving hate out, you're multiplying hate in every possible way. And you're creating a thing with it. You're putting it in the world and it's going to come back to you. You cannot take it back, right? Then your mind is antagonistic. What does that mean? You can look these words up. You can find a different word you can use for yourself. You may not feel antagonistic. I don't feel antagonistic. But if you are in hate, you're like, well, yeah, you're not all that great anyway. And I'm better than you. And you know what? I should have gotten that raise and I should have gotten that, that promotion. And this person is this. And you poke people and you trigger people. And maybe you intentionally go say something mean because you're upset. This is what you want to use this tool for. Calm down so you don't say things that create bad things in your life. You don't curse other people, so you're hurting other people, but it's going to come back and kick your butt. Bottom line, everything you put out there is coming back to you at some point. So, all right. Now, what does process mean? Process it's something else in David Hawkins' scale. But to me, what I see the energy is when you're in a state. So let's say you're in the state of anger. All right. And your emotional body is it's in motion and it's heavy and it's full of this icky, hateful toxins, and you hate yourself and you hate your body and you hate the choices you made and you hate your ex and you hate your upbringing and you hate the world and you hate the government and you hate the news and you hate and you hate and you hate. Okay. So you're radiating this frequency now, right? And you're really anchoring into this state. Now your mind is it's wanting to like poke and trigger and cause more problems. It wants to pick fights. It wants to say, yeah, well, I hate you too. And I hate that. And this happened to me. So therefore this, and, and all this stuff. And you might even be aware while you're doing it, right? Have you ever been there? Like, you're like, why am I saying this? Why am I saying this? Oh my God, I don't want to be saying this. That's what I talk about, habits and hidden pathways that are sabotaging you and you may not know about. That's why you need these tools like Create Your Reality with Your Words, substitution, substituting what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing, how you're feeling, substituting the words you're using, and tapping, using these and other energy medicine tools to free yourself. Now, because I'm giving some of you coming to the workshop, you're going to get how to master your emotions in any situation course. I'm also going to teach you a basic infinity light weaving tool that will allow you to unhook, unravel, to disconnect, and to connect to the energy that you want. So if you have hate, you can start to unhook it. If you want love, you can start bringing it in. Very, very powerful, very simple, and also based on ancient principles from Chinese and many other medicine and energy paths. So what is the process? It's what starts to happen around you. So your environment, the energy that you're in. So let's say that you work at a place and everybody is angry, tense, Everybody's kind of like comes in and they're grumpy, they're complaining all the time. This person's talking bad about that person's blaming that person. Everybody says, oh, the boss sucks. The boss says, all you people are crappy, and so on and so forth. You're inside of that soup. You're in that frequency. You can decide to go into that workplace, go into your own house, go to the doctor, go to wherever, get on that train. And if you're afraid to travel, climb that pyramid. If you're afraid of heights, like the lady I told you about, you can decide, I'm not going to go in and let that affect me. But what am I going to be? What is my choice? So those of you in my class right now, right, you're noticing the same principles, because as within, so without. If I'm at peace within, then how can I bring that peace with me to work? How can I bring that peace with me when I travel? How can I carry that peace? And then I infect other people instead of them infecting me. Then I have cause, then I am causing a different environment around me. And people might change, they might not. Then you don't get it. Oh, I want to see the results. Oh, I guess it didn't work. I'll go back to being miserable and letting other people affect me. No, 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 no. Okay. So the process is what starts to happen in your environment. You're radiating hate and anger, and you start to decide, you know what? I'm not going to be angry anymore. I want peace. Peace is way, way up there. You're not going to jump to peace unless, somebody just stabs someone to death. And then you probably have a little trauma over that. But something major happens that makes all of the things deconstruct you believe in. And suddenly, like, you've just died and left your body and have a near-death experience. You might feel great peace. You might be lifted up by the angels. These are real experiences that people have, just lifted right out of that car accident, right out of that trauma, right out of that, your daughter dying in front of you, and you're at peace, weirdly, right? Because that's what true spirit is, just peace, bliss, happiness, joy, because all these other things are just like a little drop, bink, drop in an ocean, gets absorbed into the ocean. So you affect the reality around you. But if you think the reality around you affects you, it does. Whether you think you're right or you think you're wrong, you're right. Whether you think you can do it or you think you can't do it, you're right. Whatever you decide and think and speak and feel, you're right. It's what you get. So there's no yes, no, there's no reality other than what you choose. So if you are down here at grief, and grief seems like it's such a low state, and of course we're going to grieve when someone we love dies, or when a project ends, or even just moving to a new house and you're excited about your new house, but you have a little bit of grief because you have so many good memories at the old house, right? Grief doesn't have to be a huge, horrible trauma. It can be, wow, I loved this job, but now I'm going to a new job and it's even better. But I'm on the next leg of my European trip, and being in Paris was so wonderful and I'm going to miss it so much. But wow, now I'm going to Florence. It's going to be cool, right? There can be that grief, but let's look at the emotional state of grief. It's regret, and regret is awful. Regret has motivated me to do things in my life, to heal relationships, to look deeper inside of myself, and to take back my power from allowing myself to stay separate, to believe or to blame other people, because I refuse to feel regret ever again. It's a horrible feeling, because what is regret? Regret says, why didn't I make amends with that person? Now they're dead, right? Why didn't I just let, this and step out of my comfort zone and make it happen? Now look where I would be. I would be a completely different person, but now I'm still thinking the same thing, worrying about money, when I could be over there going, wow, money just showed up when I decided it was going to show up and my life is better, right? So regret, very hard. Tragic thoughts. Look at grief. The mind is tragic. That means it thinks tragic thoughts, and it keeps feeding them and seeing more of them, and then attracting, well, look, and then I saw this, and then I heard this person's story and it was horrible, and then that, and then, oh, and you see, we're like self-fulfilling prophecies. We're attracting it and we're putting it out, and then we're seeing it, and then we're going, well, look, of course it's true. It's right there. You can't believe your senses, and you unhook from these reactions, and now you rise above and you accept, you transcend. So then what happens in grief? Despondency is the process. So the more you're in this state of tragic thoughts and regretful emotions, oh, that's a heavy, horrible one, right? And you're grieving whatever it is, whether it's a person or a job or not speaking up or not saying anything or missing an opportunity, whatever. Now you're starting to feel despondent. And that is what starts to be the soup you're living in, the frequency you're living in, because tapping and words and energy medicine, they change the frequency. They raise the vibration. They free you from being stuck inside of a certain state of consciousness and believing that it is the truth and the reality and the only thing out there, right? So I want to do something here. So when the longer you're in that state, the more you think the tragic thoughts and you believe them, and the more you start thinking about the past and then second guessing this and feeling regret, the more that the environment around you is becoming this state, despondent. Does despondent sound like it has much energy? No. So despondency leads to the state below it, which is indifference, which is depression, essentially, right? So going down the scale, you go, each one goes down to the next one and then down to the next one. Going up the scale, each one goes up to the next one. Like I tell you to say, I'm ready and willing. Look at willingness. The willingness is at 310. It's in a power state, but it's still under the water, but it's right before acceptance. It's right before you pop up out of that heavy water and you take your power back. You breathe. Oh, I'm just accepting what is. I'm not judging it anymore. My emotional body's forgiving. My mind is going into harmony. Oh my God, all the thoughts are coming. All the ideas are coming. This is so cool. I'm transcending aggression and enslavement and withdrawal and destruction and elimination and all of these things effortlessly. And I am seeing compassion and I'm receiving compassion, right? So each one of these leads to the next one, either direction though. Okay. So despondent, hopefully that's the right word. I like looking up definitions. So despondency, and then the longer you stay in that frequency, the longer you're thinking that thought, the longer that trigger is operating like, oh, I can't get a break to go meditate or breathe or go talk to my crystals or my angels, go to the bathroom. Say, I have to go to the bathroom right now and stay in there for a little while. But if you tap, right, if you do this, if you have your declarations, if you understand what to say, if you know that it's just an energy, that's it. It's just like I'm driving through a snowstorm. It just is a snowstorm. Pretty soon I'm going to get to the other side of the snowstorm. You look at a map and you know you're driving from, LA to Las Vegas and you go, okay, where am I? I wish I was there yet. Oh, look, okay, I've still got an hour to go. At least keep going, keep going, keep going, right? Despondency, feeling or expressing despondent, right? A dejected, depressed, low-spirited, loss of hope, loss of courage. So what this starts to happen around you, and the longer you stay in a particular state, the more that energy of the process starts to happen because it's in motion. It's going from, let's say you went up from depression to grief, you're at a higher state. You have actually more energy, but you abdicated. You gave up. You left. I don't care. I'm not in charge of my life. Everything's happening to me. I don't have any control over it. I'm just a victim, right? That's what's happening there. Then to feel depressed or loss of spirit or loss of energy, discouraged, dejected, depressed, extreme in an extreme way, hopeless, unhappy, sad. These are the things, deep dejection, arising from a conviction of the uselessness of further effort. So it means you give up. You give up. Like, I'm convicted. I'm believing. I'm choosing. What's the point of doing anything? And then what happens? You go to the next lower state and you abdicate. You abdicate the throne. The throne means your power. You leave. You stop driving the boat. You just say, you leave. And every layer below that, then you go into destruction. Well, Do you think things in your life are going to crash and fall apart and destruct if you just give up, if you're convinced that it's useless to do anything else, that you have no power, you're a total victim? You just give up and walk away from even being in your life or being in your mind? You see, so each of these states, going up or going down, supports the next one in a positive ladder or in sucking you down, which is why you need to interrupt the pattern as soon as possible. Now, the perspective is what you see. You start to see from disdain. What is disdain? Well, that's a lot of judgment right there, right? Disdain is not a nice energy. You kind of like criticize everything. You're sort of like, oh my God, that's like the stupidest thing ever. A feeling of contempt, unworthy, inferior, scorned, disdain for the rules, look of disdain on their face, and so on. So this is, I'm just seeing if there's any other. Unwilling, hatred, disrespect, despise, scorn. So what happens then? If you see from that, then it's like putting certain glasses on. That's what you're seeing. If you immediately said, oh my God, I'm starting to feel regret, or I'm getting these tragic thoughts again, or I'm feeling grief again, and you start tapping, if you immediately change your words, you do the other things I'm teaching you in all my different classes. If you come to a retreat and you go, oh my gosh, I remember when I had this, and then Nan did that, and then I learned this, right? Or I'm going to imagine myself there, surrounded, being hugged by people in that sacred circle where I felt so blissful, so supported, so uplifted, so empowered. That's who I really am. This is not my truth, right? So you interrupt it right away. The less time you spend in that tragic and regretful place, the less of the despondency and the disdain that you're seeing, attracting, feeling, radiating out is happening. Okay. So moving up to anger, look at how high anger is. We all know if you're angry, you have a lot of energy. You're like, right? So if you're indifferent and you're despair and you've abdicated and you've given up and you don't care and you just look at everything as stupid and useless and you're blaming everybody, therefore you have no power and everything in your life is just falling apart. It's all destroyed. Your relationships are destroyed and you lose your job and you stop paying your bills and all these things, right? You can see all of these things, how they happen here. And you just go, you know what? I'm fed up with this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm angry. I'm not tolerating this. No. And you really get angry. And don't do it at someone else, but you really allow yourself to get angry. You're going to raise your frequency. Yes, you're going to go into some hate and you're going to have some antagonistic thoughts, and your process, right? Your radiant field and what you're starting to experience is going to go into aggression. But look what's underneath it. Enslavement. You were a slave. You were stuck. You felt like you had no way out. You were disappointed. You were in denial. You felt denied. You were denying other people. You were denying yourself. You just thought that nothing works. And now you're aggressive. You're like, yeah, but you know what? I want that. Why did that person get that? Oh my God, this is not fair. This is not where you want to live. This is not where you want to stay. You start to see things vengeful. What is that? Revenge. That's their fault, whatever. But you use it as a rock climbing. You grab that level and you get angry. And then you go, no more of this. And this is a process I teach in the Create Your Own Reality class. So if you want to learn it, it's pretty powerful, but you have to follow it up and do it in a proper sequence, or all you do is create more of this, okay, in your life. So be careful. But now you're so much higher energy than you were down at grief and guilt and shame and blame and hopelessness and all of that, right? And you can pop up to pride, which is not a great state. It is a forced state, but think about it. Don't a lot of us kind of need some pride? I mean, I used to think I was worthless piece of shit. So when I got to where I was like, yeah, that's right. I'm good, man. I deserve this. This is okay for me. And then you're like, I'm going to scorn that emotions that says I'm no good and that I'm anxious. No more of that, You become demanding. Your mind is demanding. Now, again, you don't live there. That is not a nice place to live, and nobody wants to be with you if you're demanding. But if you start demanding that you have something better in your life, I'm demanding that this emotion leave me. I'm demanding that my life is different. This is not okay. Then around you is inflation. Now, you can say somebody who is full of pride, right? They're all puffed up. We say that. They're all inflated with self-importance. They think they're good. And if it's done in a not good way, then that's not great. But think about if you down here, I'm weak and pathetic and poor and I'm stuck and I'm enslaved and I'm full of anger and fear and all this kind of stuff. And suddenly you're all puffed up and you're like, nah, I'm good, damn it. And I'm this and there's that. Then what happens? You become indifferent to all the lower states. Your perspective becomes indifferent, but it isn't the state of indifference. You see the difference in indifference? You become like, I don't care. I don't care that my whole life has been that way. I don't care that that person thinks I'm useless. I don't care if that friend wasn't nice to me. I don't care. I'm indifferent to it. Screw that shit. And bam, you go into a power state. Courage is a power state. It's the first power state. And you go from indifferent and puffed up and all these other angry things. And now the energy is coming to you. It's supporting you. Now, you don't want to live in courage because it's like, oh my God, I always have to have courage and get up and have the courage to go on this trip, have the courage to ask for what I want, have the courage to, right? However, if you do, look at what happens to you when you tap and get to the state of courage. Your emotional body is in affirmation. What is that? It affirms, yes, you can. This is true. You are good enough. This is going to make a difference. There is a way. People do love you. There are wonderful friends out there just because you haven't seen it. You don't need, you can. This is the little engine that could, I call it, because your mind goes feasible. This is possible. This is possible. I can do this. The little engine that could, right? That little kid's story. I can do this. Chugga, 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 chugga. You're gaining energy. I can do this. I can do this. I can do that. That's possible. Yes, I can. Your emotion is affirming it. Your mind is affirming it. You're starting to get a little higher, a little higher. And what happens around you? Empowerment. You start feeling empowered. You start feeling a little bit better. Oh, yeah. And then what do you see? Permission. You give yourself permission. You see the universe giving you permission. You have other people notice you. The doors open. The magicians show up. They help you. They help you. They help you. So from courage up are what are called power states. It means the energy is supporting you. The higher you go, the more support there is, the lighter you feel, the less you're attached to anything that's happened in the past, the less your mind can draw you, your emotions can suck you down, the less you can be triggered. And when you get to neutrality, look at that. You trust your emotional power in motion is trusting. I trust myself. I trust the universe. I trust this will work out for me, right? Your mind is satisfied. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is going to happen. This is going to be the greatest retreat ever. This is going to be this. And then what happens around you? Release. Now you're getting freed from these heavy emotions. Now you're getting freed from thinking, why is that happening? Why is this person? I don't want to chase them anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm stuck. I can't. All of that is below you. It is not possible to think from that level. The longer you stay at any one of these states, the more that process is happening, the more you're empowered, the more you release. And then your perspective is enabling. You feel and see things that enable you that, oh, wow, look, there's this money I forgot about. There's this person who wants to help me. There's this thing. I'm enabling others and they're enabling me. And now there's this blissful a blessing, this multiplication that happens. You go to willingness, and that's why you say, I'm ready and willing. You're declaring you're willing. I'm ready and willing. That statement is going to take you to willingness. And imagine if you're doing this calm clarity method, if you're doing the tapping with it, if you're letting it out of your body, if you're letting it out of your emotions, if you're letting it out of your meridians and your memory and your voices, you stop saying it, you stop feeling, like seductively addicted to yelling and being like that, or feeling sad and full of regret and useless and hopeless and pathetic. You feel like the longer I stay here, my emotions are optimistic. My mind is hopeful. And I start to go into intention. Intention means you're operating from your true self, SELF, capital SELF, your divine self, your intention. And then you're thinking from your heart. And that's a whole other lesson, but just trust me, that's a very powerful place to be. And your perspective is inspiring. You see things that inspire you. You think things that inspire you. You get inspired. You feel inspired. And bow, now you break free and you're above the water. You can breathe and you accept what is. You don't judge it. You don't condone it. You're not choosing it. You just say, oh, here I am. It is what it is. Okay. Whatever's happening in the government, whatever happened in the news, whatever's happening over there, it just is what it is. It doesn't mean I have to get involved and judge it and feel bad about it and roll around in the muck. I don't have to go pick up the poop. I let the poop go. I tapped it out. Look what happens at acceptance. Your emotional body forgives. That means it lets go. It just flushes. It dumps. And you're tapping and you're tapping and you're doing and you're releasing and this is happening. And now your mind is in harmony. That means it's aligning to all these opportunities. Doors are opening. All this great stuff's happening. Transcendence becomes the process. When you transcend something, it doesn't mean get your courage, climb the mountain. It's like you're being lifted up on a cloud. Angels are picking you up. You're flying with the eagles, transcending all that stuff. And you see with compassion yourself and everyone else. So you can see that we're going to use the scale. We're going to use the methods of tapping. I'm going to teach you the phrases to say. I'm going to show you the actual things that you can interrupt very quickly, and then how to do deeper work, go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and unhook these different things, using the scale, using as well your own personal power, your positive words, the law of substitution. I'm going to teach you the infinity light weaving, how to use that to also unravel and unhook. Here we go. And you're going to have actual practical things you can apply right away. So if you feel like coming and joining me, pop over to the shop, grab it now. Let me know if you have any questions. And I hope that this was helpful and freeing and exciting and fun for you. I'll just check and see anybody have questions or comments. Let's see what we got here. Oh, you're in the UK. Well, come to see us in Scotland. Oh, you're so welcome for the language, sweetie. Yeah. My nan put on my mom, and all I know growing up, because I was out as it was my job to look after everybody else, and I was taught to put myself last. And exactly. And most of us are that way, and most women are that way too. So now you decide, I'm not doing that anymore. Get a little bit mad. Be like, you know what? I know that's my habit, and I know that's what I was told to do, and that was my job, but it isn't my job, and I'm not doing it anymore because I want a life where I'm around people who are happy and joyful. And it isn't that you're turning it around. Now everybody take care of me. I'm empowered, right? Love that you're doing this. I knew we had EFT in common, completing my clinical certification. Oh, wonderful. That's awesome. Yeah. No, it's like it's taught in different ways. EFT is a little different than TFT, which was really the original people who did the science. And then I combine it with different things. So when I was born with an illness and I had over 100,000 ops to keep me alive. Wow. Wow. You're a miracle. We're all miracles, right, Crystal? So you now are a miracle, and you're like, look, I'm here. There's a reason I'm here. I have a purpose. I have a divine purpose, and I'm not going to play victim. I'm not going to give all my energy away to everybody else. I'm going to use the miracle that I am to become an empowered person. Because here's the thing. When we free ourselves from this trauma, drama, triggers, patterns, then we actually are more radiant, radiating those higher states of consciousness. Now we're affecting other people just by being us. Now we're lifting people up. Now we're making a better world. Now you're coming over to my side of the parallel reality, to the drama war world over there, and you're lifting it up. You're creating more a golden energy than black energy. You're not creating more of those dense energies and adding to the heaviness of the trauma that's out there from all the years and lives and constant history that we've created, all that stuff. Yes, ancestral, absolutely. We have way more than we really understand in our DNA. It's totally ancestral. We carry the trauma of our ancestors. We may not know what it is. I remember many years ago, I treated a lady who was terrified of spiders. I know a lot of people are terrified of spiders. You don't really need to be, you just need to be careful, right? But she was irrationally afraid. And what we discovered through past life journeys was that her grandmother, or it was like her great grandmother, had died of a spider bite. And she actually went and asked her mother, or her grandmother, or somebody in her family. And one person didn't know, and another person did. Oh, yeah, that is true. So that wasn't passed on through words. Nobody knew it. Nobody said, oh, be careful of spiders because grandmother died of them. But because it happened, it was in her blood, it was in her DNA. If your family was killed in the Holocaust, if you lost you were royal and you lost your royalty and they chopped off everybody's heads, if you were poor and you were outcast and you were a leper, if you were whatever, like think about all the stuff that's happened in the world. We carry it in our DNA. You're so welcome. Lady Zach Cook had a similar message. Oh, wonderful. Yes, I wasn't able to go today. I love you guys. I hope I'll see you soon. Reach out to me for Scotland, for Canada, for Calm Clarity. If you want to still join the Create Your Reality Through the Power of Your Words class, very, very powerful. And in the meantime, I hope to see you somewhere in the happy zone, accepting and dancing around in peace and love and bliss, creating a radiant field that blesses everyone everywhere you go. Because when I say with every breath and every step, carry the peace that you've received here, you are. You're speaking, you're radiating. If you're radiating victimhood, sadness, wound, then you're putting that out, you're giving it to other people, you're seeing more of that, you're attracting more of that. Lift everyone up, but not because you're responsible for them, but because you're taking care of yourself, and now you're stronger and you have a higher frequency. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Namaste. Ciao.